Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all are doing well. Let's take a look and see what's going on with Bitcoin for the day. So, taking a look at our daily candle here, it looks like we are hitting that 786 level right here. We did talk about taking out this pool of liquidity yesterday. We are diving deeper than that. It looks like it could potentially be an exact 786 retracement from this local low on the daily time frame. If we can hold that, that would be a very good sign. Obviously, I'm pulling deeper now. I was saying that we could potentially test the top of this order block right here. We almost got to it. Bitcoin has been known to be front running levels recently. So again, if you are trading, my levels, just keep that in mind, right? You don't have to wait for the full 786 retracement or the full, retracement to the support line. Just know that it's going to probably come close. Um, just be aware of that. It has been front running a lot recently. So, if you're setting limit orders, just make sure that you're doing it in a way where, you can be tagged in without it hitting the actual level, potentially, even within a $100 to $200, boundary, essentially. Let's take a look at our 12 hour. So, taking a look at our 12 hour, you're getting that nice, continued move to the downside. I thought this could potentially be some tweezer bottoms right here, right on the support line. That got wiped out though. So now you got to wait for that to happen again, basically on the 12 hour. There's a potential that this is the low for the day, especially given the time that we're at around 8:30, and it is a Tuesday. But keep in mind, folks, that we do have some Fed events coming on Wednesday and Thursday that will be driving price this week. Let's see here. Taking a look at your 8 hour. So your 8 hour, you are staying above your 200 MA, which is a good sign. You're staying above it on the 10 hour. So not too bad of a sign as far as the higher meso, or sorry, yes, higher meso timeframes go. I definitely would say that your macro is looking not too bad, just more staying within a consolidation range for right now. Now your lower meso timeframes, like your 6 hour and your 4 hour, they are not looking the best. Well, 6 hour you are keeping your 200 MA. 4 hour you did lose it. So obviously not the best sign, right? But that being said, guys, like I said, we have been trading down this week, and with trading down comes an expansion up, usually. And I told you guys the other day that I would be targeting around 64,918 at the very least, if not 64,962, as our Monday midnight open for us to possibly hit. So this is kind of the area that I am targeting as a first target. There is definitely a potential to at least hit 65,186 or even continue on up all the way into the 66 or 67K range. So just keep that in mind. But I am definitely not bearish at this point. I am looking for bullish setups. I'm looking for reversals actively at this point. Um, 2 hour time frame, you're again, like we talked about, front running the top of this order block right here. Have we taken out enough liquidity? That's the bigger question. We have that triple bottom that we took out right here more recently, right on the 2 hour. So there is a potential that pretty soon we will get that reversal back up, especially as more retail starts and keeps chasing short. Okay. Let's take a look real quick at our 15-minute time frame. So taking a look at the 15-minute, you can see that we are just kind of staying and hovering right above the 786. We do lose this, guys. There's a good potential that we are going to have to pull from a deeper low, which would probably be right around here. So to expect more of the middle to the bottom of the order block to be basically filled, essentially, at this point. So I would definitely keep that in mind for right now. So somewhere around the middle or the bottom of the order block if we cannot keep this current level. So as far as what to expect for the day, we could get some potential follow through to the downside if it wants to. Timing wise, we would have wanted to see a more expansive move up by now. I don't like to see it hovering in the same area, especially after 8. More recently, I should say, usually setups when we were in a bull market, they were happening around about 6:45 to 7, and you would start getting that expensive move up, that Sammy special, right? But now we're looking at more so, 8 o'clock time frame, just kind of more of a delayed setup. And if price is going to run, usually it starts running by now. So there is a potential we start getting down into here. Don't be surprised if we even come down to 62,880 down here, and even possibly 63, 200, 63, 150. So there is that potential, but just know that there is a good possibility, a very, very, very good chance that the Fed folders will reverse price this week, come Wednesday and Thursday. Levels to look out for. So I just told you the levels to the downside: 62,880, 63,150 to 63,220. And then to the upside, you're obviously going to be watching the 64,962 area, the Monday midnight open, as well as in the 65K range and even getting into the 66K range. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at liquidity. Let's go ahead and dive into there. Let me move into the 4 hour. So taking a look at liquidity, obviously you can see we are losing that 63,777 level that I drew yesterday as a 786 retracement. So it does allude to the fact that we could potentially come down here and get into 63,114, maybe tap the top of this liquidity area. There is always that possibility that we do dive into and maybe go all the way into 62K-ish range, depending on how violent it wants to get today. And that would be taking out a triple bottom here, so don't be surprised if that could potentially happen. However, for right now, we have to assume that this is our local low, and we're basically pulling, our 786 from there. So you're looking at 62, about 63K even, if we get that continued move to the downside. Taking a look at the 1 hour, so the 1 hour time frame, obviously we got through this red liquidity, so that basically means if we don't get a bounce there, we're probably going to keep pushing down, okay? And again, lining up with that 63,100 area, you're looking at about the same, area that the 4 hour is projecting, right? 63,100 to 63,000, the top of that liquidity area that we saw. And that would be aligned also with a little bit of this yellowish and red pool of liquidity down here. So we have another chance of possibly bouncing around 63,351. And like I said, we could get the follow through down into 63.2 and 63,100. All right, taking a look at the 15-minute. So the 15-minute kind of showing the same thing. You got a lot of liquidity to the downside. You're starting to step through here. The 100x tells you that it ends about 63,133. Again, more confluence for that move that we talked about on the 4 hour. And then, same with about almost the same with the 50x pool of liquidity. You can see that we can get to about maybe the bottom of this yellow pool right here on 63,100 once again. All right, guys. And then as far as, our actual order book goes, our open market order book, you can basically see that we do have quite a few orders down here that could basically be acting as support. So just keep that in mind, guys. This could be acting as support once we get down here. There's a lot of yellow orders we could be bouncing off of potentially. So look for that to happen right around starting at around 63,400 down to 63,200. So just keep that in mind. That's kind of where I would be seeing a potential bounce area, maybe right around this yellow line right here, 63.3. All right, let's take a real quick look at our symbol map right here. So taking a look at our simple map, let me see if I can kind of zoom in here, scroll this up. 63,450 is kind of where we're at right now, as you can see. So, if we get past this support area, you have to assume that we're going to probably come down here and test 63,240, which does align with these orders right here, all the way down to 63,200. And obviously, if you get past there, you'd be testing 63,000 even, and then 62,850. That would be different support levels to the downside, and then to the upside, you'd be taking a look at 64,110. 64,530, 64,900, that type of thing. Those are all potential resistance levels to the upside. So first would be 64,110, then you'd be looking at about, 64,530, and then to about 64,890. But once you get past 64,890, guys, like I mentioned, then you start talking about the 65K-ish range, and you can really just kind of flow through to 65,500. So really, if you could drive through the 64K range, you can really get back into the 65,000-ish area, which could align with later on this week. Taking a look at your swing time frames, once again, we always are, basically seeing the same information as the scalping time frames. 63,330 is going to be your next level of potential support, followed by, 63,200 and then 63,000 even. Big level of support would be around 62,850, 62,880 level, which was, I believe, a previous Monday midnight open. So keep that in mind that 62,880 could be crucial here if we get that continued move to the downside. And then obviously to the upside, like we mentioned in the the scalping time frames, you have 64,110 as a potential resistance line, and then you have 64,530, 64,590-ish area, followed by around 64,920, and then potentially being able to get that follow through into the mid 65K range. All right, guys, that being said, that is what I have for you for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful trading day, and I will talk to you later on this evening. Take care.